While Arkansas sits on more than $600 million of a budget surplus, the state's Department of Human Services is looking for nearly $28 million in savings.
We've been telling you about how senior services provider CareLink sounded an alarm regarding their funding, how the Senior Olympics almost lost thousands of dollars in their funding, and then a years-long wait list for some home care waivers.
In a THV 11 investigates, our Tanya Motorzitsky obtained internal DHS records shedding new light on how the agency was preparing its budget and where the money is going if it's not some of the services.
Over the last several months, THV 11 investigates received reports of funding cuts and other issues impacting several groups tied to the Arkansas Department of Human Services. Last month, we told you about cuts to Arkansas Senior Olympics funding just days before the new fiscal year started that DHS just reinstated last week.
Miraculously, we were able to get the DHS to agree to fund us as they promised.
Before that, we looked at concerns raised by CareLink and its Meals on Wheels program.
A bad formula for a crisis on the horizon.
Earlier this year, we shared stories from a family on Arkansas's Community and Employment Supports Waiver waitlist for people with developmental disabilities.
We have been told anywhere between 2 to 10 years.
Each time a concern was raised, THV 11 reached out to DHS to find answers and solutions. Those requests led us to hundreds of documents from DHS suggesting the issues may be part of a bigger budget conversation happening within the department. According to records, the agency identified nearly $28 million in savings tied to what's listed as Category B funding for fiscal year 2027. The savings comes from a combination of unfilled positions, program reductions, and shifting some expenses to reserve funding sources. All moves, State Senator Kim Hammer says, is a part of a bigger issue facing DHS.
DHS is up against the wall because of the growing demand in other areas that their budget requires to meet, whether it's the food for the senior adult centers or just helping in other areas.
Among the programs identified for savings include Arkansas Senior Olympics, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, and Lifespan Respite grants. Documents show some of those same programs appeared in proposed grant amendments just days before they later appeared on reduction lists. I asked DHS why those funding plans changed and when final decisions were made. DHS says these decisions were made leading up to the July 1st fiscal year start date by DHS and other relevant staff throughout the agency. And at the time, grant amendments were not considered as a potential option for alternate funding. The records also reveal financial concerns raised months earlier by CareLink. In February, the organization notified DHS and the state about plans to withdraw as a Medicaid Arkansas Choices meal provider in Pulaski County. In that letter, CareLink cited reimbursement rates remaining unchanged since 2009 despite inflation. The letter also refers to a 2022 review that reportedly recommended a rate increase that was never implemented. DHS says rate increases depend on available funding. The documents also provide an updated snapshot of Arkansas's Community and Employment Supports Waiver waitlist. As of May 2026, more than 2,000 people were on the waitlist. More than 1,400 were under the age of 18. Those sitting at the top of the list first qualified in the summer of 2023. DHS documents estimates each additional waiver slots cost between $18,000 and $26,000 annually in state funding. According to DHS, they strive to set rates that are fair but also must balance these decisions against available funding. In Little Rock, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
All right, Tanya, thank you. And just to reiterate, DHS did find the funds to reinstate the Senior Olympics and Meals on Wheels.
State Senator Hammer says the state does have a $600 million surplus, but that's in case more federal dollars get cut, resulting in a special session, something he says they don't think they're inching near.
Yeah, we also asked DHS many other specific questions, and they've given us some answers for the dialogue. You can head to thv11.com. And a reminder, if you have a story that you'd like us to look into, you can email our tip line. It's investigates@thv11.com.
Or you can also call 501-590-4630.